Hello and welcome to this video series on clustering the Peer Management Center. We'll run through the steps required in my lab, but first, here are a few important things to know. First, clustering the Peer Management Center is optional. You don't have to cluster it and could quite easily run with a standalone installation instead that looks something like this. But if the computer hosting the Peer Management Center goes offline because of a failure or because some maintenance is required, installing the Peer Management Center in a clustered environment allows it to be spun up on another member of the cluster, also known as a cluster node. This removes the single point of failure that comes with only running it on a single standalone Windows server. When a failover occurs, the PeerGFS jobs will automatically be restarted on another node and will use the same job configurations, logs, IP addresses, and so on. After a brief period, each peer agent will reconnect with the Peer Management Center and all jobs set to auto start will begin. Now, there are a few prerequisites and some useful things to note. This setup requires 2 or more Windows servers already configured and running as nodes in a Windows failover cluster. If you need help with that, there's a link in the description below showing how to set up a Windows cluster. At least one dedicated cluster disk is required for use by the Peer Management Center to store configuration and log files. This must be a cluster disk, not a cluster shared volume or CSV. Shared networking should also be in place. Install the clustered Peer Management Center before installing any peer agent software on your other computers. The user account must be a member of the Domain Administrators group in Active Directory and be a member of the local administrator group on each cluster node. Clustered Peer Management Center services should never be started from the Windows Service Manager or services.msc on a local node. They should only be controlled by the failover cluster manager. With that said, in the next video I'll run through the steps required to get the Peer Management Center clustered in my lab so that you can follow along. See you in the next video.